What if one of the Bible's most enigmatic figures, a queen of legendary wealth and wisdom, was not a mysterious stranger, but the mother of a nation? A ruler whose journey to Solomon's court forged a dynasty that would last for millennia? This is not a myth. In the highlands of Ethiopia, the Queen of Sheba is not a fleeting visitor from an unnamed land. She is Queen Makeda, the foundational matriarch of an empire. Her story, preserved in the Kebra Nagast, connects the glory of ancient Israel directly to the kings of Aksum. While the West remembers her as a puzzle, Ethiopia celebrates her as a progenitor. This is the story of how a biblical queen became an Ethiopian icon, her identity woven into the very soul of a people and their faith. But before continuing, please subscribe to my channel. It is a big deal to me, but a matter of a single click to you. The Queen of Sheba appears in the Hebrew Bible as a figure of immense stature, yet frustrating anonymity. 1 Kings recounts her journey to test Solomon's famed wisdom with hard questions, bringing camels laden with spices, gold, and precious stones. She is impressed by his wisdom and wealth and blesses his God. The text is clear about her impact, but silent on her origins. She comes from Sheba, a name associated with the Sabaean kingdom in modern-day Yemen. But the biblical narrative leaves her kingdom and her people open to interpretation, an ambiguity that would allow traditions like Ethiopia's to flourish. The Bible's sparse account is punctuated by a prophetic verse that Ethiopia would later claim as its own. Psalm 68 verse 31 declares, "Princes shall come out of Egypt. Ethiopia shall soon stretch out her hands unto God." For Ethiopian tradition, this was not a vague prediction, but a specific prophecy fulfilled by the Queen of Sheba's journey. She was the ruler from the south who stretched out her hands, not just to a king, but to the God of Israel, setting the stage for a divine covenant with her nation. The biblical narrative, while brief, provides the essential seeds from which the Ethiopian epic grew. The queen's acknowledgement of Solomon's God, "Blessed be the Lord thy God," is the crucial theological moment. It transforms her from a diplomatic visitor into a potential convert, a monarch who recognizes the sovereignty of the God of Israel. This opening in the scripture allowed later Ethiopian tradition to richly imagine the rest of her story, her return, her son, and the establishment of a God-fearing dynasty in the highlands of Africa. Watch the video till the end. The next part will astonish you. If the Bible provides the seed, the Kebra Nagast, the glory of the kings, is the mighty tree that grew from it. Ethiopia's national epic, compiled in the 14th century but drawing on much older traditions, tells the definitive story of the Queen of Sheba, here named Makeda. It details her rule over a powerful kingdom based in Aksum, her legendary wisdom, and her fateful journey to Jerusalem. The Kebra Nagast transforms the biblical vignette into a foundational saga of divine destiny, royal lineage, and the transfer of sacred covenant from Jerusalem to Aksum. The epic's central narrative is the birth of Menelik I, son of Queen Makeda and King Solomon. After a night of hospitality that leads to their union, Makeda returns to Ethiopia and gives birth to a son. When Menelik comes of age, he travels to Jerusalem to meet his father. Solomon welcomes him, but Menelik's true mission, divinely guided, is to bring the Ark of the Covenant to Ethiopia, escorted by the firstborn sons of Israel's priests and nobles. This event establishes the Solomonic dynasty and positions Ethiopia as the new guardian of Zion. The Kebra Nagast's claim is breathtaking, that the Ark of the Covenant, the most sacred object of Israel, resides not in a lost vault, but in the chapel of the tablet adjacent to the Church of Our Lady Mary of Zion in Aksum. This belief is not merely a legend, but the cornerstone of Ethiopian national and religious identity. It justifies the authority of the Solomonic emperors and positions Ethiopia as a second Israel, a nation chosen to protect God's covenant. The Queen of Sheba is the essential link in this divine plan. But before continuing, please subscribe to my channel. It is a big deal to me, but a matter of a single click to you. Skeptics may dismiss the Kebra Nagast as pious fiction, but historical and archaeological evidence provides a compelling backdrop. The kingdom of DMT and later Aksum in northern Ethiopia was a contemporary and rival of the Sabaean kingdom in Yemen. This was a world of cross-Red Sea commerce and cultural exchange. A powerful queen ruling a wealthy kingdom in the region in the 10th century BCE is entirely plausible. The epic may preserve a historical core, the memory of a real queen who engaged in trade and diplomacy with other great powers of the ancient world. The most striking archaeological evidence lies in Aksum itself, the great stelae fields. These massive, intricately carved obelisks are the tombstones of Aksumite kings. Their design, featuring multi-story false doors and windows, mirrors the architectural style of the legendary temples of Jerusalem and the palaces of Saba. They stand as silent, monumental witnesses to a kingdom that saw itself as an equal to the great empires of the age, a kingdom capable of producing a queen of the stature described in both the Bible and the Kebra Nagast. Further corroboration comes from linguistics and inscriptions. The ancient Guizi language and its Sabaean precursor share roots, confirming a deep, historical connection across the Red Sea. Inscriptions found in both Ethiopia and Yemen speak of MLK, kings, and MKT, queens, ruling over powerful and wealthy realms. These fragments of text, though not naming Makeda directly, paint a picture of a political landscape where a powerful queen of the spice and incense trade was not an anomaly, but a distinct possibility, anchoring the legend of Sheba in a tangible, historical context. But, before continuing, please subscribe to my channel. It is a big deal to me, but a matter of a single click to you. In Ethiopia, the Queen of Sheba is omnipresent. She is depicted in countless church frescoes and illuminated manuscripts, always portrayed as a distinctly African queen, crowned and majestic. Her image is not a historical curiosity, but a living part of worship and identity. She is venerated as a righteous convert, a seeker of wisdom, and the mother of the nation. This visual tradition stands in stark contrast to her often exoticized or ambiguous portrayal in Western art, where her identity was a canvas for foreign projections. The Queen's legacy is powerfully embodied in the Rastafarian faith, which draws heavily on Ethiopian tradition. For Rastafarians, Haile Selassie I is the returned Messiah, the 225th descendant of the Solomonic line. The Queen of Sheba, as Makeda, is therefore a direct ancestor of the divine king. This modern interpretation shows the enduring and adaptable power of her story, connecting an ancient biblical narrative to a 20th century spiritual and cultural movement. Beyond grand narratives, the Queen of Sheba is a personal figure of devotion. Her story is told during religious holidays like Timkat and Maskell, and her name is invoked in prayers for wisdom and leadership. For many Ethiopians, especially women and girls, she is a daily source of inspiration, a biblical figure who exemplifies intelligence, agency, and faith. She is not locked away in a museum, but is a living presence, a matriarch whose story continues to guide and empower her spiritual descendants in their everyday lives. But, before continuing, please subscribe to my channel. It is a big deal to me, but a matter of a single click to you. The Queen of Sheba's enduring identity in Ethiopia serves as a powerful narrative of self-determination. While external forces often sought to define Africa's history, Ethiopia held fast to its own story. The tale of Makeda is a declaration that African kingdoms were not passive recipients of culture, but active, powerful participants in the biblical world. She represents a legacy of female leadership, spiritual seeking, and national pride that has inspired Ethiopians for over 1,000 years. Ultimately, the story of the Queen of Sheba in Ethiopia is more than history. It is theology written as national destiny. She bridges the gap between the Old Testament and the Ethiopian present. Her journey to Solomon was not an end, but a beginning the moment a nation's special relationship with God was forged. In a world that often marginalized her story, Ethiopia gave the Queen of Sheba a name, a home, and a legacy that continues to shape one of the world's oldest continuous civilizations. In the 21st century, the Queen of Sheba's legacy is a global touchstone for discussions about identity, post-colonial thought, and the reclamation of African history. Scholars and artists look to her story as a pre-colonial paradigm of Black sovereignty and female authority. She has become a symbol not just for Ethiopia, but for the African diaspora worldwide, representing a proud, self-defined African past that challenges centuries of misrepresentation and affirms the continent's central role in the foundational narratives of the world. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, share, and like to encourage me produce further similar videos.